An album a day is my exploration into the Korean music scene. This podcast will cover mainstream, indie, and some underground artists within the scene and provide both factual and opinionated commentary. The biggest benefit to sharing my thoughts this way is that it will hopefully expose you to more great music and exploration of your own.
You're tuned into an album a day. Show, start.
This feels good. This feels awesome because this is the end and I I came into listening to this album the first time around expecting that it would feel like it's the end. And then the second listen through, I drew some different conclusions. I most certainly did. So I'm not gonna even exaggerate and make it seem as if this feels like they were finished. If anything, it feels like One Time had found their grounding and were ready to really do something dynamic. So I've got a few conclusions that I've drawn from this. But before we get into that, K-pop fans on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being essential listening and 1 not worth mentioning, the A3-day rating on this is a 4. They brought it all the way back around. With this album, One Way, it released November 1st, 2005. So again, they went back to that 2-year strategy, giving themselves some serious time to redevelop and reassess the sound and things of this sort. And there's a couple of things I want to point out. So first, as I said, I felt that this would be finite. I felt like this would feel like a send off, a goodbye. It doesn't. It didn't. But it only sold a little over 34,000 units. It peaked at number 4 on the Korean charts. So what I'm concluding is YG stepped in, said that the numbers weren't that impressive. Maybe you all should take a break. Plus, I'm developing, another act. This came out in 2005. Big Bang came out in 2006. One Way, the other conclusion that I'm drawing, One Way was the blueprint. One Way was most certainly the blueprint for how Big Bang sounded. And when we get to that letter in this long journey, and we start assessing Big Bang's discography, it's evident. If you can take the time and make your way through One Way, which is an album that you can genuinely listen to from beginning to end, it's balanced. Everyone has a moment to shine. There's not particularly an essential standout song there really isn't one. I thought there would be. I'm looking at the list. Let's first give you what was on this list, and then maybe I can figure it out then. So we have One Way, which was the intro. Do You Know Me? What You Gonna Do? How Many Times? The Instruction, which was an interlude. Danger. Summer Night. I like the chorus on Summer Night because it features Big Mama. Some of you who have been longtime listeners to me on my other YouTube channel have heard me reference in past great moments in production and deliveries the power of Big Mama. It's going to be very exciting to go through their discography. But they did do a track with them called Summer Night. So I like the chorus on it because it's hearty. The ladies are singing their butts off. Nothing new. Track 8, Can't Let You Go. 9 is Take It Slow. Next is Super Funk. Get Them Hands Up. How It Go. Hippie to the Hopper. That's the outro. Cheesy name. Then you have What You Gonna Do YG remix and Do You Know Me instrumental. I think What You Gonna Do was the one that stood out the most for me. But ultimately, this is a good played in the background album. Even though I gave it a 4, there's nothing that jumps out at you. You just bopping your head the whole time. And that's a testament to a good album. If every single transition has you rocking your head and you haven't really lost that momentum, that vicarious attention, if you will, that's a good album. It's a solid album. it felt like they still had so much more to say and so much more to do. I'm not going to get into any speculations about straying within the group or anything of that sort. I'm only going to talk about the music, which the further we get with some groups, the more personally difficult that'll be for me with certain artists. But it was a four. They did a great job. Um, it sounds like a good combination of 2003 and 2005. I heard some of the catchphrases from some of the popular Western songs that I'm already personally familiar with, uh, noted in this. They had a little bit of a catchphrase that worked well at different points in the song. One time, we so old school, like that was the aesthetic that they were aiming for and maintained. I hate that you can hear that it wasn't the end. That's the part that really is unfortunate. And giving the knowledge that I have about how things work at YG Entertainment sometimes, I feel like he stepped in and pulled the plug on them when they were just getting the momentum back under their feet. They should not have gotten the numbers they got for Once and For All coming off of Third Time for Your Mind. One Way should have got much more love than this, especially with it being such a hearty album. You can rock with this thing for almost an hour and it's well paced. It doesn't feel redundant. I feel like they got shafted. I really do. So, recapping it all: One Time for Your Mind, second round, Third Time for Your Mind, Once and For All, and One Way. Overall, I give One Time's discography a four. It's shocking to say. It seems so shocking. It seems like I'm ranking that because I'm taking it from a historical standpoint, but they really did do a lot to create a genuine hip hop vibe, which at this point in our journey together with all of these listening moments, we don't know who else solidly contributed as strongly. I mean, of course, we're going to look at Jing and Sean and things of that sort, but they stayed true to trying to take that Western sound, that Western vibe, even the aesthetic, God rest their souls on that, and bring it over and make it relevant. They worked with Lexi. They worked with Big Mama. Lexi is that's not a group. She will be a very long time before we get to her because we're focusing on Korean idols as groups first and then soloists. So this is just we're gonna be here for years and years, Lord willing, y'all. But worked with Lexi. They were some of the original foundation of YG Family. Like the first YG Family album debuted in 1999. So like they were a serious foundation, a keystone, honestly, the center stone in the foundation of what YG stood for, I'll say up until about 2015. There's been some super shifts in what they stand for now and things of that sort for a variety of reasons. And that's where we'll leave that. So overall, Oh Jin Han, Park Hung Jun, Son Baek Young, and Im Tae Bin as One Time. I give them a solid four for the efforts they made through their discography. And they're legendary in their own right. They had a nice run from 1998 until 2005. And perhaps they're waiting. I mean, well, shoot, I was going to say perhaps they was waiting for a major milestone to come back and do a performance again. But if they debuted in 1998, we've already passed a 20-year marker for them. They never formally disbanded, but you can count that as it's a wrap. Unless they're trying to be extremely monumental and wait until the 25th year, but that seems like a severe reach. So this was very, very exciting for me to share this with you all. I didn't realize it was going to have such an impact on me. There are two other groups that have one number names, but they debuted this year, 2019. and they don't have enough of a discography for me to really pry into. So that means we're going straight into the twos, which have a lot of groups that I have a lot of love for. Some I've seen in concert, some I have all their albums. So we're getting ready to leave the late 90s, early double O's and get into some music I'm more familiar with. But I'm pleased, genuinely. It's just it's a weird feeling. Like I set out and I said I was going to do this and we're doing it. And now this whole discography is done. And it felt like it was going to take me 400 years, but it only took 4 days. Um, but I'm pleased that I had that moment to really listen to one time and really get a feel for their interpretation of hip hop and share that with all of you. I hope it encourages you to check out their music. Again, some of it might be a little tough to find, but it is worth it. Just skip that third album. Is hot trash. I told you once. I'm telling you twice. I will catch you in tomorrow's episode as we explore another group. Bye, y'all.